Exactly. Thanks very much, guys. And we all know distracted driving is a huge problem. It's a dangerous issue. And you at home might even think, oh, I'm really good at texting. Oh, and my eyes aren't off the road for very long, but you might be surprised at how long your eyes are actually off the road. We're going to have some stats and some details coming up next on The Danger. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Back when I was young, distracted driving meant, putting your lipstick on in the car, but technology has caused some huge problems, and it's a dangerous thing out there right now.
Absolutely it is. Texting, use of distracted driving and the use of cell phones is probably the third largest cause of fatal crashes. And we think that it's really easy. We think it's something we do every day. We think it's something that is acceptable in the car. And the problem right now is it's still socially acceptable. It's like what seatbelts were probably 25 years ago. It's socially acceptable to use your cell phone in the vehicle.
And we know that Bluetooth is fine for experienced drivers, but if you're a new driver, you can't even talk on the phone, speak, or nothing.
That's correct.
It's completely illegal from that perspective.
If you're in the LODN stage, you're not even allowed to use a Bluetooth device.
But someone might say, but I'm really good. I'm exceptional at texting and driving really quick. My eyes are only off the road for 2 seconds.
That's right. But in actual fact, if you were to try a text right now and give it a shot.
So, I
am coming home shortly.
I'm not even spelling it right. Home.
So now keep it down, because most people try and hide it from detection.
Right.
In the center.
So it's down here.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is
it's even further now. So you're going between the road and down to your phone.
But 2 seconds, depending on the speed, could actually have a greater impact, right?
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people think, well, it's just a couple of seconds, but in 2 seconds at 80 kilometers an hour, you've traveled a Olympic swimming pool distance. 5 seconds, you've traveled a football field.
And of course, for adults that are just sitting there and talking on speakerphone and arranging maybe meetings and all that kind of stuff, there's a whole other different level of danger there as well, right?
Absolutely. It's not the act of using the phone, it's the act of taking your brain away from the function that it needs for driving. It's called inattentive blindness, and it's a big problem with the actual complexity of driving.
And so we want to keep people safe out there. We don't want any distractions. We want people to get from point A to point B in focus. We're going to continue to get not only tips on how to get to where you're going safely, but also talking defensive driving this morning on BT, guys. Yeah, and we're talking a little bit more on the defensive side of driving coming up in the next segment. Many people know that their mirrors are there. They think they've got it set up properly, but you actually probably don't. We're going to have the proper setup of your mirrors for a maximum viewing. Coming up next, stay with us on BT. We'll be right back. And we're talking about distracted driving, but right now what viewers are seeing is a typical setup that might happen probably more often than not on the roads, where you've got a car in a blind spot. And so thereby it becomes more about defensive driving, because as much as we're not being distracted, we've decided, no, we're not going to check our phones. We're not going to fix our lipstick. We're not going to, be unaware about what's going on in on our road ourselves. From our perspective, we can't control what other people are doing, Melanie.
Absolutely. So part of that awareness means having your mirrors adjusted properly so that you see everything that's going on around you. And contrary to popular belief, there are no blind spots built into vehicles. We create them by improperly adjusting our mirrors. So you can fix that very easily by adjusting your side mirrors properly.
And a lot of people probably think, I know what I'm doing when it comes to the mirrors, but it's probably surprising how incorrectly people are setting it up.
Absolutely. So the first thing you want to do is you want to center your rear view mirror, and then what we're going to do is you're going to move your side view mirror, and now you can see my mirror is adjusted improperly. I am seeing the side of my car. You should not see the side of your car. I need to push my side view mirrors out far enough that I am not seeing the side of the car anymore, and that allows me to see the lane next to me. And that means that a car will never get lost in a blind spot.
Okay, but we are still to shoulder check.
Absolutely, but now what's happening is instead of shoulder checking because you don't know what's there, you're shoulder checking to confirm what you've already seen, which is that the lane is clear.
And of course, we know that the signal has to happen before.
That's correct. You want to signal your intention, not your action. So signal, at least let the flicker, let it click twice before you even make a move, and that'll give people lots of notice.
Wonderful. So many great tips. Of course, for more details on the driving education, you can check out their website. Again, it's about not being distracted and also being aware of what other people are doing so that everyone can get home safely. Back to you guys. Oh, very nice. Thank you very much, Riaz. Yeah, we're taking things now to the road where maybe you will have Jennifer's music playing and you never know. But we are talking about distracted driving and the importance of high aim vision up next on BT. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Exactly. We want to keep everybody safe. And Melanie, it's kind of funny because you've had to remind me several times, 9 and 3, not 10 and 2.
That's right.
Sometimes it is about reminding people about some of the basics, right?
It is. You know, it's just doing the basics to a high level of skill all the time, and then they become your new good habit.
All right. So what exactly is high aim vision?
High aim vision is a way of keeping yourself safe by seeing everything, not focusing just on one thing.
So right now we're seeing the perspective of the driver essentially through the windshield here. I want to be looking essentially all around, not just at my target destination, for instance.
Yes. Now, it doesn't mean moving your eyes and scanning focally all around. It just means keeping your eyes high on the horizon and using your peripheral vision to gather a lot of that information that we typically miss.
Excellent. Nelson, we'll let Nelson go reposition himself because we are going to sort of test my driving skills. How does, though, the high aim vision really translate to us into being safe?
Well, what happens is driving is such a complex task. Anything that you can do to take the complexity out of that task and make it an autonomic movement and task, then you are the little distractions that we have every day, the kids in the back, they affect our driving less.
All right, so we're going to go now and we're going to be somewhat distracted, I'm sure, because we're talking in the car, and that also, it counts as distraction, right?
Okay, well, keep your eyes high, keep using your peripheral vision. And there you go, looking high ahead. Oh, the door opens, and see, you saw that.
I did see
That's
that,
right.
but I tell you, it's still, even though, frankly, I kind of knew it was going to happen, it still is something that can be stressful. And if you're not sort of keeping that full range of vision here, it's the peripheral stuff that happens that can really throw you off and cause an accident.
Well, what you'll find is the peripheral vision helps you prioritize stuff. It helps your brain prioritize. So it'll allow you to drive more relaxed and only deal with the stuff that you need to.
We don't want to be distracted. It's not a good thing. We want to keep the focus where it is needed, which is in the car. We've got lots more coming up on Breakfast Television. Thanks very much, Melanie. For more details on scheduling and classes, you can, of course, check out their website. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
9 and 3.
9 and 3. Ah! Fail. Exactly. So we want no distractions. You want our focus to be 100% on the road and our commute, and to be very aware. So it may be as simple as creating a new routine. We've got some great tips coming up next on BT. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We've been getting lots of driving tips, not only defensive driving, but of course focusing on the problem of distracted driving, of course, which is kind of the hot word right now. We're all talking about it, but we still engage in it. Why?
It's just perception. Right now, it's still socially acceptable to use our cell phones behind the wheel to text. It's not that big of a deal yet. It's kind of like what seatbelts were, 25, 30 years ago, when it wasn't really law, let's say, to wear a seatbelt yet, or before drinking and driving became so effective or such a big problem. So right now, this is now the infancy of cell phone use. We have to make it less socially acceptable.
And we have to get it a bit out of our routine right now, because typically we're so strapped to this. I like to check my Twitter feeds, of course not behind the wheel, but I'm saying these are the things that we find in our life important to us. So what do we need to do to kind of get us out of that habit?
Well, one of the things to realize is the car needs to be a cell phone-free zone, really. We need to make sure that everything's done before we get in the car. Instead of just keeping it in our pocket and checking as we're at a stoplight what our emails are, we need to just check in and check out everything that we're doing before we get in the car and say, okay, I'm going to be driving, message people that you need to that might be calling you, and really just try and focus on, if anything, just if you have Bluetooth, receiving a call, just saying, hey, I'm on the car, I have to call you later. Just getting used to that habit.
And being okay with hearing, by the way, people, I can't talk to you, for the next 20 minutes because I'm heading out, so I'll give you a call when I get a chance. It's all about best preparing yourself. By the way, if you ever want to prepare yourself, whether it's learning to drive or maybe refreshing some of those skills, you can give these guys a call. Of course, you've got classes for all different levels. We're going to take a little time out here on Breakfast Television. The sun is coming out beautifully here in Pitt Meadows. Will that sun stick around? Russ LeCate has your details coming up next. Stay with us. You're watching BT.